Welcome to tacosandgeeks.com. Justin here, back with more video game reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing Stray Gods, the role-playing musical. This was recorded on my Nintendo Switch Lite, and this is my Switch review. As always, I give you a brief synopsis of the game, so without further ado, here we go. Play as Grace in a world where Greek gods live in hiding among us, and use powers of musical persuasion to unravel the mystery of the Last Muse death. In a modern fantasy world, college dropout Grace is granted the powers of a muse, powers she'll need to find out the truth behind her predecessor's death before time runs out. You'll decide who Grace aligns with, who can she trust, who may betray her in this beautifully hand-illustrated role-playing musical. And this is absolutely amazing. I loved this experience, this game. And I'm not going to dive too deep into the story because I want everyone who are planning to play this to go in as blind as possible. I will give you a quick overview. Grace is now a god because her predecessor was murdered. And this is a murder mystery. So the gods, who they call themselves the Chorus, featuring Apollo, Athena, and a couple of others, some of them believe that Grace is actually the murderer. So they're giving Grace 1 week's time to clear her name. If not, they're going to kill her. And that's pretty much the gist of it. I mean, there's a whole lot more in this that goes with it that I'm not going to deep dive into. But just know that the story is solid. And the way it's structured, it is like a musical. They have an act 1, they have an act 2, and an act 3. And it goes... the way it flows, it really feels like you are watching and interacting with an actual musical, just from the story standpoint, the way the story is structured. If you ever been to a Broadway play or even an off-theater play that's a musical, it follows those same type of stage beats. And that's what I think really makes it work, is that fact that you feel like you're watching a musical. And just the story in general tackles so much themes such as depression, trauma, suicidal thoughts, and things of that nature. It's very heavy, and it has some really great characters and some really great characterization here that I think everyone could pick this up and find something that they're going to be able to relate to, whether it's a slice of life or something that either Grace or one of the gods or even one of her friends are going through. It really does address and tackle it, but it doesn't get preachy or anything else like that. It kind of lets you feel what these characters are experiencing, and it does a really good job of making that known and really making you feel for this. So let's talk a little bit about the gameplay. Now, this is a narrative game, so you're not really getting much gameplay here. In fact, the only gameplay you're really doing is making choices here, and the choices are actually going to decide who you align yourself with, who you might be friends with, who you could actually even fall in love with. They do have like love options and insults and things like that. So the way you interact is going to affect the way your story is shaped when it comes to characters development and how characters perceive you and how graceful can be too. Like in the beginning, you get a choice of calm Grace, you can be a clever Grace, or you can be an aggressive Grace. And as you briefly just saw, you had the green, which is calm, blue, that's just clever, and the red is more the aggressive punk rock type of girl who don't take no type of shit type of Grace. And the way you approach certain characters, you have to choose, because certain approaches might work and certain approaches could actually backfire on you, which I found out during my playthroughs, that some people you gotta be gentle with, some people you gotta be hard ass with, and some people you gotta kind of manipulate. And that's what Grace's power is able to do, is not manipulate, but be persuasive to get people to open up through song. And that's why it's called Role-Playing the Musical. But it is really, really good, great gameplay here. And just a little bit talk about the illustrations. The illustrations is great. Just look at the designs, look at the lighting. I mean, graphically, it is such a beautiful thing. Now let's talk a little bit about sound.
That I would change, but she never came.
Years, thousands of years, and now you're left behind. Your mind still hears her say, break from the same, never the same.
Rarely happy to see anyone Great! We're all done now.
Thank you for your help, Oracle. Please, do try to get out from behind your screens at least once today. Perhaps go for a walk.
Yeah, sure, will do. Leave a tip on your way out.
The story is great, but the story won't be as great if it wasn't for the performances of these talented actors. I'm just going to name a few of the heavy hitters that are in here that's going to make some of you geek out. Laura Bailey, Troy Baker, Ashley Johnson, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, Felicia Day, just to name a few of the heavy hitters that's in this game who are lending their voices and talents in here. And a lot of these actors and actresses are stage actors as well, so they really bring their experience from the stage into these performances, and the game is way better off for it because you really feel like you're in a musical. And shout outs to all the actors and actresses. They did a wonderful job to make this such an immersive experience. The music and the songs are great. I love it. Like, especially my favorite song is the first song that Grace, played by Laura Bailey, sings. And it's such a heartwarming but touching and sad song. You can't help it. It just sets the tone of what type of game you're getting here. And I just gushing over the performances here. It has a lot of replay value because you also have various choices, and various choices can lead to different type of lyrics, different type of songs, and different type of styles. So it's a very versatile experience when it just comes to the music, sound, delivery, and everything else. Now, for my final thoughts and my grade, this is getting a solid A. Of course, it's getting an A. This was a hell of an experience. The most unique experience I've had so far in a game in 2023. And I just can't help but recommend this more. Like, you have to pick this game up, especially if you're into theater, especially if you're into musicals, especially if you're into narrative games. And if you want something that is very, very great, very good story, very wonderful performances, and actually really heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time, especially with the so much subject matters that this game deals with just the way Grace handles it. You definitely got to check this one out. I will say that I do have a couple of gripes. I will say that since this is a murder mystery, the killer is kind of obvious. There's no real mystery to it. You can kind of tell as the game goes on by Act 2 who the killer is. Also, the save system absolutely sucks. You can't manually save. Everything's auto save, and I had an experience where the auto save kind of glitched on me, and I had to restart. But other than that, don't let that hinder you. This game is amazing. It's a well-deserved A. Pick it up. This is Justin from TacosGeeks.com. If you like what we do here, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Very important. And thank you for visiting TacosGeeks.com. If you're watching this, later days. Catch you on the next one. Peace.